Children, they really are just amazing, demanding little blessings, aren't they? Fun fact, the human brain isn't fully developed until around 25 years old, and the last bit to fully form is the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for such skills as planning, prioritizing, and making good decisions. And hey, why not? If you can't make mistakes when you're young, well, life would be a bit boring. But this does mean that children might not be best placed for some activities, and one of those is going on crusade. Let's talk about the worst crusade ever. A tragic and legendary event in medieval history, the Children's Crusade of 1212 saw this crazy notion flourish during a time of particular religious fervour, and this ill-fated expedition was inspired by the number of major crusades that had already previously occurred, to little success. The Crusades were basically about Christian knights and soldiers going to war to claim territories of Jerusalem and other sites in the Holy Land from Muslim control. And the Children's Crusade was about a bunch of kids travelling to the Holy Land to peacefully convert these violent battle-hardened Saracens to Christianity, using just their innocence and faith. You crazy kids. So, who can we blame for coming up with this ridiculous idea? Turns out there are two movements happening simultaneously. Let me take you to medieval era France. Here we are tending sheep with Stephen of Cloyes, and he's currently communing with God, who told him,
"Lead a peaceful crusade of children to the Holy Land."
So, Stephen gathers thousands of young people to his call. We're talking about 30,000 kids. It's like going to Alton Towers during the school holidays. He takes the gang to see the King of France, to personally deliver a letter from Jesus. These kids all think they're special. Stephen reportedly conducts a number of miracles. King Philip II sensibly asks the children to go home. So Stephen totally ignored this and went off to preach around France. But less enthusiastic were his followers, who by now had reduced to less than half in number. They begged for food to survive, or got bored of suffering and went home. Those who were left were offered passage to Jerusalem for a small fee by merchants Hugh the Iron and William of Pesqueres, but instead they took the kids to Tunisia and sold them into slavery. You'll be pleased to hear that some of the children avoided this fate because they were killed in a shipwreck during a storm near Sardinia. So that's Stephen's story, but surely things will be better for our other little prophet. Because what do you know? Over in Germany, another boy, Nicholas of Cologne, also claims divine inspiration, and he too gathers a gaggle of children and sets off to the Holy Land via Italy and the Mediterranean Sea. Travelling through Switzerland, 2/3 of these crusaders died, and many returned home. 7,000 did make it to Genoa and marched to the sea, which according to Nicholas would part on their arrival, so they could walk to Jerusalem, Moses style. So they were super surprised when nothing happened. Nicholas then lost more of his followers, who were offered citizenship by Genoese authorities. The rest settled down and waited for God to change his mind. Unwilling to give up, Nicholas trekked to Pisa, again losing more followers on the way, and there he sent a few kids off on a couple of ships. Hey, maybe they even made it to the Holy Land. Nicholas marched on to the Papal States to meet the Pope, who told them, sensibly, to go home. Nicholas finally listened, but whilst crossing the Alps back to Germany, Nicholas perished. In Nicholas's absence, his father was arrested and hanged to placate the many angry families who had lost relatives during this whole hoo-ha. And maybe, just maybe, none of this is true, but instead is the stuff of legend and a metaphor for the cult of innocence or the cult of poverty, which were movements at the time. Perhaps these groups were poor people who travelled and preached, relying on donations to survive, rather than joining a hypocritically wealthy monastery, and the church referred to them as children instead of poor, because to be poor is to be pious, and that's kind of embarrassing for the opulent institution of the church. Or is the story a retelling of the tale of the Pied Piper? What do you think? Give this video a thumbs up if you've ever made a bad decision, and check out this video for a historical story about how a sausage brought down the Catholic Church in Switzerland. Subscribe.